right. Hello and welcome to another episode of the BC Coding Stream. It's been a while. There was directions EMEA, and then I got a little bit sick afterwards, like a cold, so I couldn't really talk straight for like a few hours or something. So yeah, but now I'm back, and I just yesterday actually had an idea for another open source project, and obviously I needed to get started on that as soon as possible. I was listening to an episode from the Dynamics Corner podcast starring Steve Endo, and Brad, Chris, and Steve, they were talking about projects with customers, like customer projects, where they were seeing all sorts of things you shouldn't do. And I think the main example was pretend extensions where the code is not downloadable, and the customer didn't get the code, and then the partner, they split paths or went out of business or whatever, and yeah, then stuff went sideways. And so, hey Brad, and I actually paused the podcast, texted Steve while I was driving home from the Polish BC days in Warsaw. I texted Steve whether he has time, and then I called him. We had a brainstorm, and I just needed somebody to have this idea, to talk through this idea, basically to make sure that I'm still sane and I'm not missing something. So this is the idea. It's the working title for now. Let me know if you come up with a better title. I'm all in for changing it, but the working title is BusinessCentral.Sentinel, and the idea is basically this a little bit bigger. I want to build a platform along with all sorts of rules, basically, which would be installed via extension, possibly from AppSource, and this extension will go ahead and analyze whatever it can analyze and whatever makes sense to analyze in the environment, and then will give warnings or informations or errors or even critical, depends on the case, essentially, and inform the user or the customer, or maybe the partner, whoever runs this, what can be improved or what's wrong inside the environment or the database or the company, for that matter. I hope the muting worked. And so those are a few rules I started with, and obviously I started with that one. Download code is not allowed for patent extension. And the patent extension is just a test one I published into this sandbox called AI Project 2. And then I also give a long description, in this case, just something I came up with for now, describing a little bit in more detail. And then we can even go third level, where we can possibly show a page or whatever, like details. This is custom code already, to give the user more explanation on what this rule is about. And then also we could have some action recommendations. In this case, we probably need to talk to somebody who wrote that extension to figure out why or how to resolve this, how to get hold of the code. Also, and I will go through the code in a minute as well with you and possibly continue working on this. But the idea is here to either give an idea. In this case, do you want to open the page management extension, the page to manage the extension? Then I will be sent down to the page management, the extension management page. But like there could be rules I can imagine which would which describe a problem which can be solved just by a click here. So just like fix it for me. And then the idea is to always give the opportunity to the user to say no, I don't want to. But describe what will be fixed and then give the choice. Do you want to continue? Yes. And then it's done. It's fixed. And then the second rule I came up with is you probably also don't want to have extensions in dev scope in production or even sandbox, because those will get uninstalled if the environment gets upgraded to a new version. Publishing them in pretend scope instead will prevent this. Talk to the person who did this, figure out how to resolve it. And then some of them I might be good with that. For example, the BusinessCentral.Sentinel extension, I'm developing on this right now. This is nothing I need to worry about. I can ignore this. And all this will do is set the ignore flag, basically. And this is a persistent thing, so even if I regenerate this list of warnings, it will still stay ignored. And this is just a filter possibility. I could filter them ignored once here, and obviously views could be a thing, but then also thinking about role centers, thinking about reports, whatever we could generate out of this list, we could remove the ignored ones, because some of them might not even be discoverable. Like the rule might not be able to figure out that it was resolved if it's an external thing. So then I would flag them manually as resolved. Yeah, so that's the overall idea I came up with. Again, this is, I'm not sure if I said this, this is going to be open source 100% from the beginning again. And I want to get the engine correct and working, and I'm really hoping to get people to review and help me make this as future-proof as possible and as good as possible, basically, before this will go to AppSource. But yeah, as soon as we're there, it will definitely go to AppSource. I will publish this with my under my company, and then we can continue to implement rules and make it a great thing. And then I started to write down some rules, just brainstorming a little bit. So you could imagine you don't want to have a Kronos company in production after go live, at least not after go live, but also like in general in production, you don't need it generally. You don't want to have Contoso demo extensions in production. So one second, there's a chat message. Brad said, I'd like to see Microsoft add a telemetry event for the cases when an app is installed with resources exposure policy set to not allow access to code too. Yeah, probably what would be a good thing. But I'm also thinking about adding telemetry on top of this. I'm not quite sure when and how much and how often and everything to emit. But I could totally imagine this to emit telemetry, like all the alerts. Send it to telemetry, and then if you're managing a bunch of customers, you can just use your telemetry to have an eye on those rules, basically. Okay, Contoso, not a good thing for production. I really recommend to all the customers, if you set up a new environment and have a look at in the extension list, there is so much stuff installed, and probably most of the customers don't even use half of it. So why don't rewrite rules that would check, for example, the Shopify connector if the setup is not done, if it's not connected to any Shopify instance, you're probably not using it, and you might be just able to uninstall it and increase your system performance. Then inform about users with super permissions. There might be admin accounts in there that are fine with super permissions. Ignore those, but don't forget to remove super permissions for other users. And I mean, the list goes on. I don't need to read all of this out, but those are just the things I could come up with within like half an hour of just brainstorming a little bit. So I really think this is a good thing, a great idea. Not to praise myself too much, but yeah. So this is what I came up with. Now let's see if I can compile here. Reloaded this in my sandbox, in my VM, sorry. Yeah, that works. All right, perfect. Okay, so the heart of this is just a table. Yeah, probably big enough. Just a table with just the primary key. It's using number sequences as a primary key. And then I have the alert codes, which is basically an enum with just those codes to keep them unique in some way. And also to do interfacing. I will come to that in a minute. And then short description, long description, nothing fancy. Severity is info, warning, error, critical. I'm not sure if maybe verbose would be something we could add, but I'm not sure if that distinguishment is really needed. For now I have it set to extensible faults. Might change, I don't know. Then action recommendation, also a text field, just so the implementer of the rule can be fancy with what to put in there. And then an area. This again is probably extensible, and I'm not sure if this is like detailed enough so far, but I'm just thinking about filtering possibilities and just to put them a little bit into buckets, because this might get out of hand otherwise very quickly. And then the two most complicated fields is the unique identifier, which is basically the alert code and some identifier for the okay, let me try to explain this. We have the code is not unique because we can have multiple warnings with the same code, because it's the same warning for a different thing. Because in this case we have three extensions with dev scope installed here, so it's 3 times that warning but for a different thing, and that thing is to be explained by the unique identifier. That way I can say I ignore this warning, but the other 2 are still important to me. And then when I use the actions to ignore one of those lines, I will just write those 2 fields in a separate table. I can use this flow field to show this is ignored. And then also when I rebuild this, the ignore will persist. And that's why it's important that this won't change through generations of the warning. So I cannot just generate a GUID in this case for those warnings, because they are all about extensions. I took the extension ID, the main app ID for the unique identifier, but that might change. Like if you're warning on a sales order, for example, just to make something up, you would use the primary key from the sales order for that. So you always need to generate the same one, and it's just text 100, so you can put in anything you would want to put in there. Yeah. And then the regular thing we generate on insert, and then we have the few things that are basically behind the actions, which we have here. We can run, we can clear the alerts. That will just remove everything, because I might have worked on some of them and they won't go away in here without me actively removing them. I'm not sure if that's a good idea, but that's how I did it so far. And then I can rerun this, or the full rerun will just combine this and this together. And they're back. And ignore and stop ignoring is basically just this flag and the records behind there. Okay, and then the entire idea of this is I have an interface which will just let me create alerts for the rule. It lets me show more details and run action recommendations, and those last 2 are just fields, basically just drill downs on the page. And the first one is the actual, I didn't rename this, yes. It's just the main code. In this case, will look through the extension list, PTEs, and if I did not create that rule yet, it will check if the source code can be downloaded, and if not, then it will create the alert and insert it into the table. As fancy as this, and the dev one is even simpler because we don't need to check the download code. It's just if dev and I find some and they're not there yet, I'll just insert them in the alerts table. And then the other ones are just like, this is just showing messages, right? Returning text. And this is it for now. I'm not sure, and maybe someone in the audience knows, if I loop over the enum ordinals, will it give me ones that are added by enum extensions from different dependencies, like from different extensions that have a dependency on this, built on top of this extension? I don't think so. So we might need an event here to just raise and let others add their interfaces. But yeah, and then it will just loop over all the alerts to run, and we'll create all the alerts, and then we'll just move the pointer up to the first because we're working on the record. And then, yeah, so it's not that fancy actually, I think, for now. But it gets the job done, I think. And I've already tried to be quite verbose on those messages, and I also already added about text, so we can retake the tour, which will just take us through all of this, because you need to know that you can click on the field to see the full explanation. You need to know that you can click on the action recommendation to fix the issue if there is something to fix, and then how the ignore works, and then also actions, basically. Yeah, so that's what I came up with. And now, because how long are we in now? Can I see this somewhere? 20-minute stream would be a little bit too short. I'll just continue working on this, and let's see what we can come up with as rules. And then we'll also be test automation. Did not spend anything on test automation yet, to be honest. Okay, so let's just start from the top of the list. And then if you, again, feel free, if you have any ideas that come to your mind of rules that could be really useful for this, just put them into the chat. I'd like to discuss on those ideas on stream. So yeah, keep them coming. Kronos company should get deleted. So that's probably a very easy one. And that's the wrong one. 30 area alert code. There we are. And I didn't find a better way to do this actually, because if I change the caption to a more speaking, more verbose description of what this rule is about, I will also see them in the client in that list. And that's something I would want to avoid. So yeah, for now it's just comments. So this would be Kronos company not deleted. Let's see, is this too long? 28 works. Perfect. Let's create a new code unit. And that's, by the way, also the entire process of adding new routes with an extension built on top of this. So if you don't want to, if you would like to use this, if you have some custom routes you need to implement, maybe they're not feasible for contribution, or maybe you just don't want to contribute for whatever reason, then this would be everything it takes. You need to create a dependency on this extension when it is on AppSource, and then just do what I do here, write an enum extension to add the enum value to this. Then also, oh, that's permission set, can ignore this. Then implement the code unit. And then you might need to subscribe to that one event to add your rules. But implements, but that's it. Not agent factory, audit alert. And then implement. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so Kronos company. I think, and I'm not quite sure which code unit this was. Was it environment something? Environment triggers? I think this would be good where we would check whether it's production or a sandbox. Environment information. That's probably the one. Is production. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I will need this later. Then we need the alert table. And we need companies. That range. And now I need to double check because it's been a while. How can we identify the company, the Kronos company? Probably just by filtering on the word Kronos. That would probably be universal, because this is a USA, and then I know that in Germany it's not USA, it's DE definitely, and it's probably not Inc either. So, or maybe just evaluation companies. That might even be better. That might even be better. And then we can rename the entire thing. Evaluation company. And then also probably, if it's not production, then if environment. Is sandbox. Then exit. Don't need to do anything. Okay. And then Copilot is so helpful. And I think I will just use the the system ID for this, for the unique identifier. Yeah. I have missions missing. There we go. System ID. Now rename the entire thing. Evaluation company in prod. Also here. Detected. And then yep, the text constant comes. An evaluation company has been detected in the production environment. I don't know if there is a good explanation. And then delete company called something along those lines. Let's make this a label, and the label would be a short description. This is long description. This is call to action description, right? And then there are comments missing. That's the company name, and here is the same value. Okay, let's first remove this because I want to test this without production. See? And there we go. And maybe, I mean, we can also do something like this, right? We could do if environment information is production, then else information. So we just, it's probably info. Yeah. So when it is production, this is actually a warning. If it's just sandbox, it will just show an info. So it's not that important in a sandbox, but you still might want to delete this, right? So at the beginning, when you're starting off, you might use Kronos to just do some testing before you have your own data. But once you have it, there's really no need to keep it around. Just clogs up the database, right? In that case, if I just do a rerun, it would not recreate this line because it would figure it's already there and I don't need to recreate it. So I can do a full rerun and then it changes to info, as you can see here, because then it deletes everything and it reinserts them. Okay, now that I think about it, before I forget about this again, we'll probably, if you want to do the full rerun, would want to do a commit. Because there's really, like, if it's a long list, this makes a difference. Okay, another one in the books, right? So radial permissions, get rid of that warning. We have anything else that requires attention? Yeah, there is a bug in the linter cup. No. Okay. New rule to catch evaluation companies did not get deleted. Okay. There is still no action behind that, so I should probably add that. Well, not really needed. Oh, okay. that one's done. Contoso demo extension should get uninstalled from production. Here is my alert codes. Contoso. That's probably right. Let's double check. Contoso. Yep. And I feel like there should be a rules folder. Alert dev scope, this one. Oh, there. All right, let's copy this one. Copy the evaluation company rule because this one is also... Oh no, we're actually looking at extensions. Dev scope. Want to do something similar like this. At least we want to have the extensions. This is Contoso demo. And extensions. Published as demo. Sometimes Copilot is actually coming up with good ideas of how things could be implemented. Okay, so what's the primary key of that? Wait a second. Shouldn't be missing. Is here something else going on? Okay, this feels like a hiccup. Namespaces. There we go. Okay, so what's the primary key? It's just the app ID. But still, those are installed apps. So I don't want to get because I don't need to read. Let's do set range, app ID. This one, and this is what's it called? Contoso demo. App ID token because it's gonna be locked. So this one, and then we need two more, which will be the coffee demo dataset for the USA. And then sustainability also has coffee. Okay, so if this and then if not, extensions, yeah, empty. Let's see, copy from somewhere else because I'm lazy typer. Oh, come on. Okay, so this is 4. Right? So this would be interesting. If I... Second. If we do... I'm trying to do those... To use those summaries and find out where I can actually use them, so it's gonna be displayed. Ah, it works. Nice. Because now I have the explanation here, and that is already better. Need to refactor this. Okay. Perfect. All right. Okay. Short description. Demo data extension count. %1, and that will be the extension name again. And then we can also rename this again, make it a little more generic, demo data extension import. That's better, because then if there will be more, we can just add them in here. If they come up with something else, I don't know, we can just add them in here. So that will be demo data extensions should get uninstalled from production. Right, and then this, and we can do the same thing here, I guess. If I might want to remove that from sandbox as well to have a good testing scenario, if I can say it like that, because if I'm testing with it installed, I just have a different scenario than production where it's not installed. So I want to mirror production with my sandbox as good as possible. So let's put in the same here. Evaluation company. Yep, this is the copy. Environment information. There we go. All right, so this is again technical, and then the long description. Okay, this actually has to be a little bit more precise. When extensions for generation of demo data can I lack of better words, mess up your data if you don't need it to need it to generate demo data anymore, but consider uninstalling it. Do not. Okay. And then here we can copy the extension management page link again, and then yep. So this needs to be labeled port description label, long description label. Or 2 M's. Contoso is a known word. Save that. And then the third one for sustainability. And there we go. And that is the extension name again. And permission set. Let's see. Get a few more infos. Oh. Yep, doesn't work like that. If you do as empty, you do not get the actual values from the record, and therefore you cannot use them. Okay, rerun. There we go. And then I also want to make sure actually to do read isolation uncommitted. And then I also think I can do a set load fields here. The app ID, the name. That's it. And that's probably something I should do for the other ones too, just to make it a little quicker. This is company. Company also needs this. T read isolation, and we want to do, I think, read uncommitted. We don't want to have this messing around with anything. Company, set load fields name, system ID, and system ID is obviously this. Okay, and then and here we need the package ID instead, because that's how you figure out whether you can download this or not. And then same here. And here we need the app ID. Don't we need the app ID here as well? We do. I think it's a primary key so it doesn't warn, but I like to keep them in there just for visibility purposes. Right. I don't like this. I don't like the action recommendation. To not be specific. Okay, there we go. Tool to inform about eval not moved. Go. And by the way, this is already onboarded on ALGO, so we already have pipelines running and commits being created. So if you want to play around with this and dump this into your own environment, you probably can't, or at least not if you do not use the dev scope, because this is in AppSource ID range already prepared for deployment. So you might need to clone this and renumber this into 50,000, and then you can just do whatever you want with it. But yeah, it's already passing builds as we speak. Okay, let's see if there is another rule I would like to tackle on. Well, I thought about the extensions being unused. Inform about users with super permissions. And I mean, a lot of those are pretty quick to develop actually, because as you see, it's just a code unit basically, and the rest is just working. So. Oh. I mean, there are a few ones which are a little heavier, especially extensions that are installed by Microsoft unused. Like this is probably going to be some regraph magic to not build dependencies and stuff. So let's continue with that one. Alert codes. Five. Code unit. User with super. And what was my suffix? Namespace. There we go. And then also implements. My audit alert. Remove the template stuff. And there we go. We want to have this access. Actually, I think the rules don't need to be access public, right? The rules itself. But then again, they shouldn't have any public procedures except for the interface. Doesn't really matter. Okay, that's just the permission set warning. Let's rename this. To close others, to free up some space, and then also to go back to the enum and link it correctly with the implementation, otherwise it won't work. And there we go. All right, so we need the users table. Or would it just be user permission sets? User permissions? Oh, that's a code unit. User permission sets page. Let's check in the client. I'm too lazy. Users. I can't even tell you how often I click on those damn links that pop in half a second after the page was open. That's access control. All right. Learned something again. Access, but I feel like I learn this every time I need to work on this because I can't remember. All right, so access control has the user security ID, the role ID, the company name, the username. Is the username a flow field or is it saved here? It's a flow field. All right. Not that this is a problem. So let's say access control set range. What? Oh, the role ID is. Oh, the role ID is the permission set ID. All right. Role ID. Role ID. Super. And set. It should give us unique users, right? Because, well, per companies, and that's also not a bad thing. Scope app ID. That's probably not needed, but the company name is not stupid. Oh, that's everything there is, right? Alert. Cart. Then copy again. Permissions. User with super permission detected username. And then also user with super permissions detected. I'm just thinking of putting this in the front, so it's user as and super permissions, and then also in company %2, maybe like this. Right, and then this is this and the user, access control, username, company name. Is company name also a flow field? It's not. Perfect. Access control, set autocalc fields. Username. Always use autocalc fields because calc fielding them each one in the loop is really not a good thing to do, because it will ask the SQL Server every time on every record, and that way it's just joined and it's much smoother. Okay, and this is not a warning, this is an info, because you might want to have some. Maybe the first one is an info, and then it becomes a warning if you have more. Not sure. Let's keep it info for now. And this would be area, create a new area for permissions. Maybe there is more permissions we can do. Not performance, permissions. Remember in long description. The user present one as this is a security risk and should be reviewed. Yeah, I think that's okay. And the recommended action label would be review permissions of the user in the company. Reduce if possible. No, reduce the permissions of user in company if possible. The long description, and we will probably need to have this. The long description as well. Yes, for all of them. Okay, and the unique identifier would be just the... Oh, I forgot to implement the unique identifier logic for the other rules. Okay, maybe I need to come up with something to not forget this. But also code review helps. So we want to do access control dot security ID, and then just chain them, I guess. Access control, that would be primary key 1, primary key 2, which is super, and then also the company name. Just chain them, and that way we have the unique identifier for that warning. And then here we want to do alert, set range, alert code, unique identifier if alert is empty, right? Is empty, then we begin. All right, let's first review the other rules. Oh no, I have it. Company ID, system ID, and here it's... Oh, here I don't have it. All right. like this. And once more. Maybe there is a way to come up with automated tests that would test the rules and then find out. And this checks and this checks as well. Right. So let's see if the user thing works. I think I am super in the environment, so come on. Interesting. Microsoft OL Sync. What is that? Those are users. That's clear. Need to use this filter because otherwise we'll make users crazy and admins. So license type. Oh, that's on the user table. I hope to avoid this. Yeah, so there is no way around this, I think. We need to use the user table. User set range. Set filter. License type. Like this. And then if that need okay, and let's also access controls. I don't loop over everything. And then use a read isolation, read uncommitted, and use load fields. Username. Oh, the username is on here, so we can actually load it in here and remove it from there. And that way, access control.username place user.username. Replace all of them. Way we are a little faster. And then also same goes here. Access control. like this. Let's see. And then we'll rerun. Yeah, okay, so that one went away because it's a background user or something we don't have any influence on, so there is really no need to warn about that. I mean, it's not a great thing, but yeah. And let's extract this. Goes this part. All right, so let's extract this part because we have it twice in here, and if it changes, everything screws up. So let's extract this. Local procedure, create unique identifier, and that's exactly what I wanted to do, and I will just do this. Perfect. So that's better. And now what I wanted to do is I want to chain this with a slash, because what I can do now is I run the action recommendations. Or should we just add a record ID? Would that be easier? I mean, I want to keep the unique identifier for what it's doing, but for running, like the reason why I added the slashes is afterwards I can split it again. I know the schema, so I can get the values, namely the user security ID, run the user page, possibly the card, and just open that user card. But I could also just save the record ID and use that instead. I'm not sure if that's unnecessary overhead or if it's dumb to not do it like this. Let's first maybe do it with splitting. Let's see. Okay, so exactly, open. Do you want to open the page to manage the users? Perfectly fine. So if not, confirm, then exit. All right. And then we need the user record again. User record. User. Now I want to test something. I would say split and then get one. I would say that I can just do page run because the user card will do find, right? And then I can open it like this. Let's see. Probably need to rerun the entire thing. Yes. works. Perfect. So I don't need to do the find here. And then I wanted to do another thing. If company name is equal, then I will change. Oh, wait. Where does that even work? Where's that coming from? Access control company name. Then access control company name all. Because that's what it's doing essentially. Okay. And now I can click there. Do you want to open the page to manage the user? Yes. And there we go. Super permissions for all companies. And this is category area permissions. It's just an info. I want to take care about this. I'm not sure how impactful this is. Maybe it should be a warning. I'm not sure. I am not sure. Okay. This is, and here's probably, I don't want to spend time on stream writing messages and reading them out while I'm reading. Add more details with explanation. But the idea is why this is a pain. Why I need to show the message myself is I could also come up, like if this is a really complex thing, I could come up with a custom page to show more details and just to let the to really give insights and let the user act upon this on that card or whatever. Like, I just want to be flexible here. So yeah. Permission set. There we go. This is just the cyclomatic complexity, which is fine, I guess. All right, so this is rule number 5. Warn or inform about users with the super permissions that assign. Come in. Okay, let's maybe do one more rule, and I guess I will call it a day. Consider configuring non-posting number series to allow gaps to increase performance. I like this one. And it's also more of an information, I think. There is another extension rule. You probably don't want to have default publishers without notice. Like, why? Why can't somebody not put their real name in there? Was it just like a quick and dirty thing? And maybe you want to remove this? Again, info in sandbox is more of a warning in production, I guess. Let's do tri-state locking. Tri-state locking feature. Well, I'm not sure if we can even access the feature management. So let's check that first. Feature key. Doesn't show which table is the source. Feature key. Oh, that works. Okay. This will be a rule that will probably expire at one point. Let's check how long we even have before tri-state locking is enabled everywhere. Maybe it already is. I don't know. Maybe it already is. Okay, so no need to spend time on that. Then let's prepare the non-posting number series warning or info, because I'm not sure if I will be able to get all of them. All right, so let's close those. Code. Value. Consider configuring non-posting number series to allow gaps to increase performance. And that would be non-post no yes implement interface and rename. That also works. Okay. Let's first check the number series because I have no idea top of my head if this was saved on the headers or on the lines. Number series. It's defined by the implementation, right? So I think the allow gaps is just a legacy front-end thing. Or is it? Let's check. Warning number increment, date, allow gaps. All right. What am I looking at? I think this is the old one, right? Yes. And then the new ones. Okay, I want to see if the if there is any way to find out if they allow gaps or may produce gaps. There we go. Okay, that's easy. All right, so we need to do number series. Why do we have 3 of those? Doesn't matter. As long as we have the... That's not the correct one. Per period. What the? 308. 308. We do not have the implementation on here. Implementation is on the lines. So it's just promoted. Can I find out in any way which one is currently active? Which line's active? Default numbers, manual numbers, date order. Read per series setup implementation. Drill down, update line. Only. Well, how do they do that on the page? It's find out that way. Implementation. Deadline. That will return the implementation. Number series setup implementation. Will we find the same one on the number series implementation? Number series, no, the number series, sorry. Setup. Number series setup. Quote unit? Of course not. Implementation, not either. Ugh. Why do they need to make my life harder than it already is? That number series current line filters. You know what? I don't care. Do I? The alternative is to just throw warnings or warnings, or all the lines that are set up for like the low level, right? If that's the consequence, then I'm probably happy. All right. Let's see. So we need to find out which ones are for posting, and most of them have a plus behind them, behind the name. But like there is just no way to rely on that, because like you can generate them with Copilot, and if it doesn't follow the schema, then yeah, that's it basically. So let's split this into different functions, different areas, so we can have a little more readable code, I guess. Track sales setup. And that's a local procedure. And then we have sales setup. One. Yeah, it's sales and receivables setup. I know. If not, sales setup get, then exit. Because if the setup is not set up, then you have different problems, but not the problem that you have your number series is set up wrong, right? So then let's open up that setup. Sales receivable setup. And here we have the number series, and then let's name them. Sales setup. Posted invoice number. Posted credit memo numbers. Posted shipment, posted return receipt, posted sales order number. This is bullshit. And then we create a function, local procedure, check number series, and it will just get the number series code. One. This, and then we get rid of the warnings here and can continue. So we have invoice, credit memo, shipment, return. Invoice, credit memo, posted shipment, posted return receipt. Yep. Issued reminder numbers. Wait a second. What rule did we even agree on? Non-posting to low gaps. All right, not posting to not allow. So we need to turn this around and do, you know, order numbers, invoice numbers, credit memo number, quote number, return receipt numbers. Where are our credit memo numbers? Credit memo numbers. I think return receipts don't have an unposted version, right? So customer numbers. Blanket order numbers. Invoice numbers, credit memo numbers, reminder numbers, issued cancelled issued. Okay, that's probably... Okay. Issues, posted prepayment numbers, posted pre-invoice, direct debitment. I think those are on here as well. Direct debitment. Okay. So that's that. And then we also want to do sales setup, set load fields. And read isolation. Read uncommitted. Okay, now the check number series will have the number series line, of course, and we'll also have the alert in here. And then what the hell? Until number series next equals 0. And now we need to have, because that's not available, we need to use the implementation. And the implementation implements this here. Do we have two implementations? Oh, because it says single. Number series single interface. And that will be signed with the implementation, and then we can if number series single may produce gaps, and we want to see if it cannot produce gaps, then alert that range alert code. Is 6 the correct one? 6 is not an option. Because we are... Oh, 6 is an option. Why? Oh, number series. This is probably throwing us off a little bit. So that's the serious code. There we go. And this is wrong casing. Now that's probably better. Okay. And then the unique Oh, that's why. The unique identifier will be... Yeah, why not? I mean, system ID, right? Now, actually it will be the number series code, because then I can open up that page easier, and that's unique enough. If one of them is still set up to allow gaps, I'll throw the warning. As easy as that. If alert is empty, I always need to think about is empty. I don't know why, but for some reason it's not as straightforward as it looks. Let's copy again. I'm too lazy. And then something will blow up, I'm sure. The short one has to be precise and informative. So number series does not allow gaps. Okay, so that's the short one. And we will do we do the description or maybe the code. Number series code. Warning, technical. That would be performance. And then the long description. Number series %1 does not allow gaps. Consider reconfiguring number series to allow performance. The number series does not allow gaps and is responsible for posting documents record. Consider allowing gaps to increase performance and decrease locking. Decrease locking, right. And that's also a string subs number. This, and then action recommendation. Change number series to allow gaps. This would be a to-do, implement detailed description. And run action is probably pretty simple. We'll do number series, card series, number series, set range, age, I was just wondering if there is a number series card I was missing. Something like this. And then obviously we want to have the open record. And do you want to open the number series? Yep. Let's see. And there we go. The series sales order list does not allow gaps. Yes. Show me. Implementation normal. Kronos, you have a problem. And now I can change this there, and then I can do a full rerun, and they're gone. And that's how I can fix warnings in the environment. And that's actually probably, I'm not sure. I've never tried actually to change this. But I would expect this to work, right? See, we should have sales orders. Yep. And the last one was number 9. And the next one is number 10. It works. I can just change it mid-business. Doesn't matter. And then again, if for whatever reason, maybe I don't want to have gaps in customers, which does have it enabled by default. Oh, okay. So maybe I don't want to have unposted, like gaps in non-posted sales invoices. Then I can just do like this. And if I filter them away, just say ignored, no, then I can just hide them and reduce the list to care about those alerts that I actually want to care about. So let's also add purchase, because it's probably a quick one. Vendor numbers, and then let's see which ones are still missing. We have order, we have quote, we have vendor numbers, we have invoice numbers, price list numbers. That's also. Why would I have prevent gaps on price list numbers? Credit memo numbers, return order numbers. Blanket order. And then we have post-its. Okay. Let's see if I missed something here. Price list numbers also on here. I don't know about those. Oh no, that's cancelled issues, finance, whatever, memo numbers. But didn't it say something like sales person dimension code? Where is that set up? Like the salesperson numbers. Let's purchase. Oh, also wallet helps a lot, apparently. vendors do allow that. Oh, reminders, purchase. Okay. Then do we have like number series in the general ledger setup as well? In the general ledger setup? We should have, right? Sheet. No number series. Okay, I'm sure there are more, and they should be added, but it's always that like everything you add makes a difference, even if it's just one thing. So yeah, in that sense, let's actually commit this to the mission set. That code rule to warn that number series posted blocking. Commit. And then I also wanted to do one last thing, maybe, because it's always good to have those kind of things. Let's add a section for now in here with the rules and ask Copilot to do so. Where's my Copilot? Add. Create a workdown table with rules, include the ID, a short description, area, and there. How's that written? Severity. Severity. Make sure to include the rules covered in this workspace. I managed to do that before. I just said in this repo, and then it included. Can I do workspace? In this workspace. That's annoying. Maybe there's something wrong with this. Let's see. Let's open the alert code enum and then again. Will this please include all 6 rules? This worked better at some point. I don't know what's wrong right now. Okay. Now the area is still not right, but let's put this in. So 1 is technical. 2 is also technical. 3 is technical, and then 4 is also technical. This is permissions, and the other one is performance. That's okay. Then we have warning, 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 warning. 3 would be info, 4 is info, 5 is info, 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 and warning again. And then let's also remove all the double spaces. And that should give us a table we can work with. Okay. Add rules overview to readme. And that will be the conclusion of today's stream. Thanks everyone for joining. I saw there were a few people, I think, who stayed the entire stream. So thanks for that. It means a lot to me. And again, if you think this is useful, chime in. This is open source. I would really like for folks to contribute. And if it's even just give me your opinion on the engine, right? This is going to be on AppSource at some point, hopefully sooner than later. I'm aiming for like 2 weeks or something to publish this. And I want to make sure that I don't need to obsolete half my objects after a week it's live. So yeah, if you have anything, any recommendations, anything to make it more future-proof, to make it better, to make it whatever, more awesome, let me know. That would already be super helpful. So give me a code review, and yeah, have a nice evening, I guess. See you next.